You just saved the world from a giant purple dude with a magic glove. What are you gonna do now? With a great finale to Phase 3, the MCU has been building up anticipation for Phase 4.
Reset the timeline.
A few projects in and we have already seen extreme changes and shakeups that will affect our heroes for years to come.
See you soon.
In today's video, after they walked through a portal to save the universe, we break down where your favorite Avengers are emotionally, literally, and everything in between.
What if I was a robot and I didn't know it?
How is Hulk's arm doing? Did Thor eat that salad? Let's find out right now. The man who started it all. No, not Iron Man or Captain America, Nick Fury, of course. The Avengers would never have come together without the ingenuity and extremely risky move by the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick is one of the very few characters left who has been around since the beginning. He's basically that one friend that everyone has in common.
Where's Fury?
However, the fall of S.H.I.E.L.D. or even being dusted into nothing won't stop this man from trying to make the world a better place. Last we saw Nick Fury, he was in space of all places. Sitting back and relaxing, he was hanging out with the Skrulls while Talos posed as him on Earth. As far as Phase 4 goes, Nick is most likely trying to set up his sword base in orbit. While he tries to keep track of all the other crazy things happening in the universe, it's likely that he and some old allies from the 90s are currently working on their next plan for global protection.
We have no idea what other intergalactic threats are out there.
Monica Rambeau made her debut as a child in Captain Marvel. She has already made quite an impact on Phase 4 with her participation in the Westview Anomaly. Last we left Monica, she gained some new abilities thanks to her passing through a dangerous radioactive hex wall multiple times. While it worked for Monica, I wouldn't recommend trying that one at home. With a new set of stacked energy manipulation powers, Monica was called in by an old friend at the end of WandaVision, seemingly up. There are definitely some mysteries left to be discovered. Was that Nick Fury sending for her to help set up the Sword Station in space? And there's clearly something going on with her and Carol Danvers. With the announcement of the Marvels, it sounds like that may be revealed soon enough. A powerhouse CEO, a loving wife and mother, and an official Avenger in her own right, Virginia Pepper Potts has had one of the longest journeys in the MCU. Last we saw, her husband Tony Stark gave his life to save the universe, unfortunately leaving her to raise little Morgan all on her own. One thing that Tony left her that we saw used with impressive levels of power is her very own rescue armored suit. Pepper kicked serious butt at the attack on the Avengers facility and proved herself a very capable Avenger. As far as Phase 4 goes, we could see her retire to raise her daughter in peace, or full-on pick up the mantle that her late husband left behind. While she, along with all of us, will always grieve the loss of Tony Stark, her skills and intelligence tell me that she'll be back fighting the good fight before we know it. A master of the mystic arts, and more importantly the librarian of Kamar-Taj, Wong helped play a crucial role in bringing all the Avengers together, with the use of portals in Avengers Endgame.
But you wanted more?
With the Ancient One gone and Baron Mordo likely crossing magic users off some list, Wong could potentially become a very impactful character. With Strange returning, the New York Sanctum now has its guardian again, probably sending Wong back to Kamar-Taj. One would think that the next time we see Wong would be in the Doctor Strange sequel, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. However, there is a high likelihood that he just made an unexpected appearance in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Likely acting in the best interest of some group of magic users led by Stephen Strange, Wong may have been sent out to win some valuable prize in a fighting tournament. Unfortunately, it looks like he may not fare too well. It is unknown what is likely to happen with the Black Panther, with the tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman and the news that the character will not be recast. However, one character who will definitely be returning after she has proven time and time again that she is an unstoppable warrior is Okoye. I'm excited to continue to see her in a leadership role at which she excels so well. I believe the next time we see her in Phase 4, she will be investigating that mysterious earthquake under the ocean that is definitely not caused by any Atlanteans.
It's an earthquake under the ocean. We handle it by not handling it.
Rhodey is another character that has been here from the beginning. Continuing on into Phase 4 without his friend will be a challenge. However, Rhodey's service record and experience in the MCU has been preparing him the whole time. He was a member of the second iteration of the Avengers, making him one of the first members still around. I could see War Machine taking on a leadership role on an Avengers team or even helping mentor a new armored hero like Riri Williams. Regardless, Armor Wars will be a War Machine story and give him an elevated role in a universe he has served for so long. This Pegasus-riding warrior helps Thor defeat his sister and save Asgard. Well, most of it. After all, it is not a place, it's a people. For the 5 years during the blip, Valkyrie was essentially running New Asgard located in Tonsberg, Norway, while Thor was in a heavy state of depression. The famed Valkyries were elite warriors of Asgard, and our Valkyrie seems to be the only one left. After some deep self-discovery, Thor decided that his place was best elsewhere, and left Valkyrie in charge to fully and officially run New Asgard as its ruler. It's likely Valkyrie is a very effective leader, and I think it's certainly possible that the next time we see New Asgard in Phase 4, it will have advanced its way back to some of its former glory under her leadership. Poor Clint Barton. He lost his best friend and lived without his family for 5 years. All the man wants to do is retire. He's literally tried 3 times now. Unfortunately, I just don't think you can keep a hero like Hawkeye out of the fight. The first movie of Phase 4, Black Widow, has already shown us that Hawkeye is once again about to be dragged into the fight, whether he wants to or not. Valentina, who is busy gathering the Dark Avengers, has something against the expert marksman. She has named him as the next target for Natasha's sister Yelena, and while I'm sure he would like to live out his days happily with his family, I imagine the likes of some superpowered folk coming for him will simply force him to have his own TV show and train his protege Kate Bishop. Gamora. She's gone. Moving on. Oh, wait. Now that I think of it, Gamora going forward in the MCU is in a very interesting spot. The Gamora we will grow to know has basically had all of her character development erased. She is essentially a blank slate from when we first met her, only now she is dealing with the fact that she no longer lives in her own timeline. Her father is gone and she has only just met the Guardians of the Galaxy, and while they see her as family, she sees them as strangers. Gamora is likely out there searching for some sort of purpose or explanation to this new world she finds herself in. I have no doubt that the Guardians will find her soon and rebuild those relationships that she once had. Before the Loki TV show even came out, Gamora was essentially the only living variant to come out of Endgame. Ant-Man and the Wasp are essentially about to be the first heroes to truly come face-to-face with the next big villain of the MCU. With Kang the Conqueror announced to be an Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, it is clear that the quantum research that the Ant-Man team is conducting is going to have serious ramifications very soon. Last we saw Scott Lang and Hope Van Dyne, both of them had just returned from their very different versions of a 5-year hiatus. Scott successfully helped pull off the time heist to bring everyone back, and Hope fought alongside him in the battle against Thanos. Scott, Hope, and Cassie all seem to have settled into a proper family. It's likely that peace won't last very long, as I'm sure Hank will be getting everyone right back onto that quantum realm exploration that they left off with, just as the snap happened. It's likely it is here that Scott and Hope will encounter the city of Chronopolis and eventually come face to face with the Conqueror of Time itself. With Rocket and Nebula being the only ones to live through the blip, most of the Guardians have just returned to a world they left behind 5 years ago. Star-Lord, Drax, Groot, and Mantis all came back and helped defeat Thanos. Star-Lord is coming to terms with a new Gamora existing in his universe, and with the fact that at any second Thor might take command of his ship.
Just so you know, this is my ship still. I'm in charge. I know.
Rocket has gone through very impressive character development, realizing what having a family truly means to him. With Thor as part of their Asgardians of the Galaxy, they are likely about to set out and search for the variant Gamora, so they can make their family whole again. Then one of them will probably bite it, because we can't be happy for too long, right? Bucky has had perhaps one of the most emotional journeys in the MCU. A World War II soldier, captured, experimented on, and believed gone, Bucky became the Winter Soldier, a mind-controlled assassin used by Hydra. Eventually gaining his freedom thanks to Captain America and the Wakandans, Bucky fought in the Battle of Wakanda, and was the first casualty of the snap. He came back, helped save the universe, and decided with Steve that Sam Wilson would fit the role of the next Captain America. He joined Sam's side and helped him on his journey, and began to really make amends with his past. His future is unclear, but there are options available to him, and he will likely see combat again alongside Cap in his next film. We've all been there. Your girlfriend blows you up, then a mad titan brings you back to life so he can destroy you himself. Then the government uses your corpse to create a living weapon with the sole purpose of fighting a construct of yourself created by your girlfriend in the midst of her anguish at seeing you go twice before her very eyes. Typical Monday stuff. Now that the construct of Vision created by Wanda has given White Vision his memories back, we have basically seen the return of the Vision we know and love. After a brief readjustment period back into society, Vision will be back to his avenging ways and may just be able to stop his wife from inadvertently destroying everything. Despite having her own movie, little is known about what Carol Danvers has actually been up to for the majority of her time in the MCU. Yes, we get the vague, "oh, I'm helping save other planets," which makes sense, but explains very little. The last we even saw Carol was her attendance at Tony's funeral along with all of the other Avengers. Even before her appearance in Avengers Endgame, we know very little about what she was up to since her first appearance in 1995. We get some hint at a falling out between her and the Rambos, but the possibilities for Carol in Phase 4 are wide open. She could be off helping the Skrulls rebuild, or even be helping Fury set up S.W.O.R.D. All I know is that we are about to get 3 times the Captain Marvel that we're used to, likely with Carol leading the charge. If you want to talk about someone who has been through an insane amount of emotional trauma, Wanda is likely one of the top 2 on that list. She has already made quite a splash in Phase 4, taking an entire town hostage so that she can live out her fantasy life with Vision. She has lost her parents, her brother, her country, and the love of her life, as well as had kids and had to give them up. However, while committing an insane amount of human rights violations, she seems to have somewhat come to terms with all of this. She now is on a quest to master her powers as the Scarlet Witch. Last we see her, it seems she may have gotten some hint that her children may still be alive, and she just may need another sorcerer's help to get them back. She had just better hope Doctor Strange isn't too mad about the whole Hex thing. Already in Phase 4, Sam has adopted his new role of Captain America, and it looks great on him. Sam was the clear choice and has been nothing but a good man since we first met him. Now that he has taken the role full force, he is working hard to make the world a better place just like Steve did. With Bucky by his side and a new movie announced, Sam Wilson will likely look to lead a new iteration of the Avengers. He has seen a vibranium upgrade in his suit, and on the weekends when he's done avenging, he can go out sailing on his family boat. Doctor Strange is a master of the mystic arts, and was able to take on Thanos while he was wielding 4 Infinity Stones, at least for a short while. He was the mastermind, the architect, if you will, of the entire Endgame, being the only one who knew the results before they occurred. Stephen Strange is presented to us as a character who can handle this burden, but knowing that he would have to sacrifice Tony long before the moment came has got to weigh heavily on him. According to the Ancient One, he is meant to be the best of us. It's likely that very soon, maybe even in his upcoming movie, that he will officially take on the role of Sorcerer Supreme. It's a good thing beings like Wanda, Loki, and Sylvie definitely aren't making his job super difficult right from the get-go. As Hulk mourns the losses of Black Widow and Tony, he is likely very high in the running of being the smartest person in the MCU. Now that he has combined his brains and his brawn, he also seems to be one of the most powerful. Hulk used his resistance to gamma radiation to use the Infinity Stones to snap half of the universe back into existence. This left his arm horribly injured. It's likely the Hulk's healing factor could fix this by the next time we see him, or personally, I'd like to see Hulk join Bucky and Nebula in the Robotic Arm Club. Regardless of his physical status, with Tony, Steve, and Natasha gone, Thor off in space, and Hawkeye in another short-lived retirement, Hulk is now one of the only original Avengers remaining. He is being set up as an important leader, and though we may not see him until the She-Hulk series, he has come a long way. Thor Odinson has gone through arguably more anguish than any other character, probably tied with Wanda. The loss of half the universe and a defeat at the hands of Thanos was the final strike that sent Thor into a deep depression. He fell out of shape and let his people be without a true leader for nearly 5 years. Now that Thor played a part in stopping Thanos, bringing everyone back, and getting some closure with his mother, Thor is ready to fight again. It's a good thing too, since his biggest challenges yet seem to be coming in Thor Love and Thunder. Last we left Thor, he made Valkyrie the true ruler of Asgard, while he set off on a journey to be who he is, not who he is supposed to be. He joined the Guardians of the Galaxy after developing a relationship with some of their members in Avengers Infinity War. Though it seems like he may not be with them for long, clashing with Star-Lord over who should lead. In Phase 4, he will likely reunite with Jane Foster and work to stop a whole new threat. Spider-Man may be in one of the most interesting positions of any Avenger when it comes to Phase 4. After the high schooler turned superhero went to space to fight Thanos, he found himself with a huge burden on his shoulders once his mentor Tony Stark was gone. At the end of Spider-Man Far From Home, once it seemed like Peter was finally figuring out where Spider-Man fit in the grand scheme of things, J.K. Simmons came back to turn his world upside down. Quentin Beck saw to it that some doctored footage would not only paint Spider-Man as the villain of the fight in London, but also reveal his identity to the world. Secret identity blown, on the run as a fugitive, all seems like pretty standard stuff. Then Sylvie just had to go running wild with that knife of hers. On top of Peter's precarious situation, he now will clearly be seeing repercussions from the explosion of the multiverse. A whole new manner of villains are coming for this teenager, likely from the other universes, while his own universe wants his head. All this, and he probably has a Spanish quiz on Tuesday or something.